Great. It's amazing to be back here at DevOps London in IBM's great venue. Since we're going to talk about performance and reliability, I hope we have some presence from Southern Trains here today. Thanks to their reliable service, half of our office we're working from home. I'm sure there's something they can learn from what I'm going to talk about. My name is Hamed Silatani. I'm working at IG with performance and reliability engineering team. In fact, I established that discipline at IG. Before we get into the talk, let me give you a bit of background about IG to set a context. In 1974, IG was the first company to introduce financial spread betting in the UK. At the time, it was done over the phone. In 1998, it was the first company in the UK to offer online dealing for financial spread betting. And that same spirit of trying to be first continued to 2008, where we launched our iPhone financial spread betting application. And up to today, we still have that drive and passion to push boundaries of technology and use technology as an enabler for our business. With that comes a lot of challenges. We face a lot of problems for the first time. Not everything is solved, or you can find answers in Stack Overflow or Google. I really need to work hard to find a solution for it. It was about 6 years ago when I walked into IG's offices. My task was to set up a development team to do what no other dev teams wanted to do. And that was to support IG's trading platform. It was to ensure reliability of the trading platform. And it was to stop massive exodus of good engineers that we had from IG who didn't want to engage in 24/7 support because it was such a hard. Last 6 years, I've been part of a very difficult and long journey. I'm really proud about being part of that story. And we also learned a lot of things and patterns how to make a platform reliable. And I'm hoping to share some of that knowledge with you here today so that it may save you some time. When I walked into IG's offices in 2010, we had about 30 applications supporting whole trading platform. Today, after 6 years, we have 300 applications. That is 10 times more opportunity for things to go wrong. At that time, we were processing 2 million trades a month. And over the years, that has increased average 8 million trades a month. That is 4 times more cost of every minute of outage. We were operating a 5 days trading window, Monday to Friday. At least for a lot of people, the weekend was given. Since 2014, we extended that to 6 days trading, which includes Sunday to accommodate for some of Middle Eastern countries in that area. That is extension of our operational window and core uptime window. Despite all these changes, we managed to improve core uptime of the platform from 99.94% to 99.99% in 2015-16 financial year. When you look at the number on its own, it's not much. It's 0.04%. But if you take a different view of it, that can expose IG to massive financial fines from regulators, even 0.1 of that figure. It can cost huge amounts of bad PR and lost revenue. So when you look at it from that perspective, it's a big achievement. When it comes to performance and reliability, deep in heart, every one of us, we all care about it. We take a plane to get somewhere faster, and we pick an airline which has a good reliability history. so we get there safe. But when it comes to day-to-day operation of engineering teams, we often forget about them. And policies, which are there to safeguard performance and reliability, they cause frustration among engineering teams, and at best, impacts their productivity. But why is that? I can tell you, the situation is even worse in financial services. This frustration and impact on productivity is felt probably many times more. Let's find out why. $440 million is the money that Knight Capital had to find in one night to save itself from insolvency. It was in 2012 when a small IT glitch caused Knight Capital to place tons of trades on an exchange and get itself almost bankrupt. The same year, RBS got itself into the situation that he had to pay £292 million in fines to FCA and compensation to clients for affecting 6.5 million clients and their payments. And this story continues. Later in 2015, they had HSBC, who had 275,000 payments being blocked and not processed for several days. As you can see, cost of making a mistake is high. Stakes are high. And in all of these stories, the initial response from companies was blame on an IT consultant or a junior IT consultant making a mistake. When the stakes are high, it creates an environment that fosters and tempts people to blame each other. The next element in financial services is regulations and regulatory requirements. They are in place for a good reason, to safeguard clients and to safeguard businesses. But it's implementation details of that and perception of regulation that causes problems. From my perspective, as far as technology is concerned, the most painful one is segregation of duty, which creates this thick wall of concrete between engineering team and operations teams. This wall of mistrust. And finally, money. There are a lot of money involved in financial services. Management have access to money, and that tempts them to throw money at problems. But that doesn't always solve the problem. It actually makes it worse if you don't fix the root cause. If you drown it in the water, another bag of money is not going to help you. It's going to make it worse. So all these elements, none of them are root causes of the problem. They're factors that magnifies the problem. The root cause is within our own engineering practices. Let's take a look at that. Nowadays, most of engineering teams, they're adopting a flavor of agile methodologies and lean. They're very carefully watching metrics that tracks how far they are from delivering features at the end of their sprint. Where are their blockers? How can they move faster? If you attend stand-ups with dev teams, you can hardly find any stand-up that anyone talks about performance or reliability. It's just not there, out of sight. And when developers, to be fair on the coding and building their systems, they're not exposed to these problems either. They work on their own dev environment, on their own PCs. It's bound to be fast. There's only one user there. And it's bound to be reliable because they just started it off. So complete oblivion. Out of sight, out of mind. Another key player in modern software engineering teams are product owners. So they're motivated by pushing their company and their product ahead of the competition, introducing new features, what is working, bring some cool features that they can go and sell, or if it's an online business, attract more customers. Their success is measured against that. No one's holding them accountable, or there's no metric to gauge on performance or reliability of their products. Even when they come to end of sprint demos, the demos that are crafted carefully in labs, showing scenarios that have been practiced 15 times just before the demo, they don't see anything. They come in, things work, bang, 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 beautiful, feature-rich software, all good. No one talks about, oh, we need to do this to increase capacity of our platform. Of course, they're not going to have it in their planning. They're going to push for, okay, what is next? I want this new feature coming up next, sooner. Not very long ago, ironically, at IG, I was in one of the demos for a new platform that IG was building. It was fantastic. The platform was so richer, it's just much easier to use, a lot of data available, and it went very well. At the end of the demo, I asked people in the room, how many of you, or does anyone have any idea how much load this new platform is going to put on our data centers, on our middleware? And it was a moment of silence. And I actually could feel it was a moment of realization as well. Almost everyone felt, oh, I'm walking on an empty space. But they all cared about it. So it's not their fault. It's just we don't think about it. We don't make it clear. It's not part of our lives. And even for engineering teams who are interested, or a handful of good software engineers that think about it, this environment is very hostile. It does not let them. Product owner has no idea, just wants to push for new features. They're struggling to get a time to run a demo, a set of load tests, or spend some time to do resiliency tests, to take different components down and see what's happening. Even when they manage to do that on their own times, there's a massive pipeline of bureaucracy that they have to go through. Change requests, get it approved, make sure no one is impacted. Talks to operations person to take systems up and down for you while you're doing the test. Find a QA who can put the load on your system, and at the end of all that, you need another QA to sign it off. God, of course it's frustrating. And then the same dev team during the day, they're impacted by production incidents. Product owners coming around, hey, can you take a look at this? Or boss's boss goes, oh, I had this report, can you take a look at that? All that this distraction that they have impacts their productivity. So, you're not doing any good there. Talked about product owner and the pressure already on development teams. But is this process, is this environment scalable? The environment where there is one single operations team, which probably is the case in most of the companies, supporting massive number of development teams across different offices. I can tell you it's not, because I lived through that. It's like a truck that carrying a lot of people. It makes progress. Things do happen. We deliver things, but it's very slow and it's bound to fail. So now we have an operations environment which keeps performance and reliability out of sight, creates a lot of friction in day-to-day operation of engineering teams, causes frustration, and naturally all that leads to firefighting and blame culture. Could we not change that with an operations environment which raises awareness about performance and reliability, makes operations accessible to engineering teams, remove pain points, and puts this trust in dev teams? If we have that, that surely will result in an operations environment. The dev teams that are more proactive when it comes to performance and reliability, and are happy to take ownership of their applications. A core element of this environment is supportive ecosystem for operations, for performance and reliability. Let's look at various elements. Let's look at elements of this supportive ecosystem. How we can build one. For those of you who were present in my last talk, well, previous talk here, we talked about making operations accessible, but for benefit of others, I'll quickly touch on that and move on. So we went to the dev teams and asked them, what was their pain point? And then we realized that whenever there's anything to do with operation, is a pain point. Is a request for someone else to do something and come back to them and they find out that they did it wrongly. So we created a self-service system, one-stop shop, that they could do whatever they needed as far as operations of their system concerned. They could deploy, they could raise a change request, they could get the configuration of their application in any environment. They could provide their application in any environment and get detail on the detail of performance and even up to the lines of code when they're troubleshooting a problem. And they could see the changes in the environment on their application for the last 6-7 hours as a kind of streaming notification. That helped a lot. We took the first step. We showed them that, hey guys, we're here to help. That paved the way for the second problem. So we wanted to raise awareness about performance and reliability. We already established with teams that we're not on the other side of the wall. We want to join you. And we already knew that they do care about it. But we just didn't know what is the right question to ask. Talking to a senior management or a developer about, I don't know, that this application had 120 incidents really doesn't mean much to senior management. Telling him that since last month we have 20 millisecond latency increase in one flow, again, it doesn't resonate much with CIO. But if you turn that message and make it personal and find what he is interested in and relate it to that, then you have his curiosity. If you talk about the impact of incidents on lost revenue and show it with numbers, if you tell him about impact on PR, if you tell him about if we had managed to save this another 5 milliseconds, we could have saved X amount of money, it's a different language. If we turn around and say, because of the toolings that we build, engineering teams can deliver features faster, it's something that is interesting. And then you have the right language, when you have their curiosity, questions start being asked. And these questions are very, very interesting and strange things. They're viral. They're like a domino effect. When questions starts from top, it starts cascading all across the organization, across different offices, no matter different time zone. And everyone all of a sudden asks questions and want to know about these numbers, about these facts, about how they can make things better. And that's the time that we had to have right answers, right numbers ready for them. But we didn't have that. And to do that, you need at least half a decent service catalog. Let me tell you the story. It was about 2.5 years ago, which I was so fed up with this various different number of incidents and massive numbers reported in our incident management system happened to be service now. Okay, so let's get to the bottom of this. Let's analyze that. So I ran a massive report and looked at all the incidents and tried to see how many different services been impacted. A unique list of services added up to 250 business services. Oh my God, what are we doing? I mean, yes, IT software is complex, but if you look at it as a black box, all we do is we get our clients to sign up, account opening, we let them fund their account payments, we let them to trade with us, trading, We have facilities for them to do research and analysis and find companies and right investments for. And then when you think about it, it doesn't really go more than 10 or 15. So there's this 250. I was really curious about it. So IT is on the 6th floor, trading services and first line support practically is on 5th floor. So one day I walked down and I said, I'm going to interview these guys, see how they raise incidents. And then I sat down with a few of them, what they do, and then started asking them questions. And almost unanimously, the answer was one very simple thing. Well, the field of services field, because it's mandatory. No way I can pick a right one from this big list, so I just picked the one that comes handy. And that penny dropped for me. Yeah. Why I couldn't make any sense of this data. So we took that back, spent time to build the service catalog, we shrink that list of 215 to 18 services, and then limited the view of people to those 18. So they couldn't even wanted to see anything else. And that list was very intuitive. So that was when things started to fall into place. Incidents started to make sense. Now we could link it to business transactions. We could link it to revenue and go and talk to senior management. We could link it to user impact. We could link it to regulatory risk, productivity of engineering teams. And also, we could link it to if with this state of system, we are ready to weather major market events. Same exactly worked out with product owner. With them, they were interested in their products and how many users are using them and success of their product. So instead of talking on incidents, if you go to them and talk about last month, there were 600 clients couldn't put their payments through or couldn't open their account. And because of that, return on investment in your product is not good. All of a sudden, you have their interest. When it comes to engineering teams, we tapped into their desire for excellence. You know, the software they create is their baby. So relating that to the quality of their software, or if you have too many incidents, that means it's not good. Instantly, they want to drive that down. They hate distraction. So if you visualize that number of incidents that comes on a day-to-day basis and distract them is because of what is happening, and they see the graph. Again, they want to reduce that as well. And most importantly, we had to keep this data flowing, so this flow of questions and interest could continue. So we had to create KPI packs which fills to this string. Okay. I have one, for example, one here which goes to dev managers. I'll quickly go run for it. So on the top of the graph, there are 3 different development groups in offices. And per month, we show how many applications had more than 5 incidents per month. So that instantly focuses dev engineers that, okay, what are the problematic applications? And with the help of the tree map, we can focus on the right application and support the right team to improve their applications. And once we have that place, things start to improve gradually over time. So, if any part of this presentation, if any part of the patterns or symptoms that I talked about resonates with you, you're familiar with it, you have seen it, you owe it to yourself. If you are in operations, tomorrow morning, walk to the dev teams and ask them what are their pain points, how it can help you, and start building that trust. And I promise you, things will just happen organically afterwards. And if you are in development teams, go and talk to their operations guys. Say, hey guys, we don't hate you, but we have this problem. Come and help us. We all want a platform which is more human, a system which is more reliable, an operations environment which is more productive. That's it for me.
you. So, who's got a question? You've already got a t-shirt. I'll start over here.
You know, the reliability of trading systems is measured by how well they perform in extreme situations. And it's safe to say that the most extreme situation this year was when Brexit polls were announced. So, how did you prepare for that day, and how well did your systems handle it?
Okay. So I start the answer the other way around. We handled it very well. But how we prepared for it was from about 3 months ago, we started extensive set of resiliency and load tests for different outcomes of Brexit. And that highlighted different areas of the system that could go wrong. And running up to Brexit, we ran 3 war games, which even simulated human failures in responding to incidents. So Brexit itself, it was very exciting and intense time for us. I think we had 24 hours operations and people watching the systems. At the end of it, nothing really went wrong. There was one system that was kind of running hot, but we managed it. It was one of our payment systems, so it was no impact on clients. And that went on very well compared to our competitors, and that reached all the way up to board of directors. I think it was the first time that they really sensed what it meant to have a team like that.
Cool. Thank you. Next question, Marcus.
Thank you again for an amazing talk. My question is about empathy and like going to the teams and to the upper management. The issue I saw is, well, you can find some people in the dev team or the management team who like deeply care about like improving and will listen to you if you speak their language. How do you deal with when the person is like 40 years old, has a family, is overworked already, they kind of would want to like improve, but they just don't have the time and they don't see the benefit because it's a bit like murky. Like, yes, you will work on this and it might bring benefit to you, but like you won't get a bonus, you won't get anything. Why should I like spend additional few hours on this to help you improve the process?
So I think the answer for you lies in raising awareness about performance and reliability. When questions start to be asked from top to bottom of the organization, when everyone is asking CIO holding development managers accountable for why we have so many increased latencies in this area, or why so many applications or payments applications fail, that gradually changes the culture and comes to dev team. With dev team, the game changer is that you don't pass the problem. You didn't tell us your problem. We actually walked the journey with them. There's another pattern I haven't spoken about here, and that is reliability mentors. So we broke down our team, and each experienced member of my team, they were given a set of team, and he was their reliability mentors. He was living with those teams day in, day out, and helping them to overcome these challenges. So we didn't pass the problem. We worked with them. And I think that was one of the reasons that made it possible for us.
Cool, thank you. I think there's a talk in itself.